Alright, let's head on to the track. Barber Motorsports Park is 2.38 miles around. There are 16 turns and a lot of elevation changes. It's very much like a roller coaster ride out there. Very challenging, very technical racetrack. Very demanding because there's the straights are relatively short, and it really requires a lot of concentration. You're working all the way around that racetrack. So check out there. Hey, can you do a course check for me? I know there's one cone down here at turn 1.
Yeah, we're headed to check the track now.
Alright, let's head on out. Now, one of the first things we always need to remember is that when you're entering the racetrack, always check your right-hand side mirror, making sure the track is clear before we blend on over to the driving line. We're going to come up the hill and then blend on over. If there's other cars there, we're just going to slow down because they have the right-of-way. Just take your time. Alright, we're going to go do a fairly quick lap, then I'll start looking at it in more detail. This is turn 2, heading down into turn 3, long sweeping right-hander, heading downhill. End up being tight down to your apex curb right here. Now you're beginning to squeeze the power on. As you do, the radius automatically increases. You find yourself tracking out, and we start heading up the hill. And there's one of those blind corners. Continuing to accelerate up the hill, gradually straightening the steering wheel just a few degrees at a time. We're trying to crest that hill in as much of a straight line as we possibly can to help minimize the cornering loads, because the car is going to get very light as we crest that hill. Maintain the steering input, let the car come back across the road from the left to the right, and your goal is to get the car in a straight line to enter the braking zone for turn 5. We initially start braking out on level ground, which is good. Then it very quickly starts dropping off downhill, so gravity's working against you. Keep the car right over here to the right-hand side. Come down to your turning in, and now beginning to release brake pressure. Fully off the brake now, just kind of coasting, rolling for a moment, letting the car point to where it wants to go next. Now you're transitioning over to the throttle, squeezing your power on. As you do, you begin to straighten that steering wheel out. Just remember, the bigger the radius, the faster that you can go. Then we're going to now start turning back to the right, looking up ahead, making sure our line, our trajectory is correct, and now you're going to begin squeezing your power back on. Don't accelerate until the car turns. That's kind of a general rule of thumb, but especially there. Very fast set of corners, not a lot of room for error. Now we're going to come back across the road. This will be your quickest straight. And again, you can see it's very busy out here. So make sure when you get to the straights, you relax that grip on the steering wheel. Take a good deep breath in case you forgot to breathe through the rest of it. And then heading down now into turn 12. Begin turning in. And you're just going to carry the brake all the way down into the corner. One of the things you'll find at this track, there's a lot of trail braking, a lot of turning and braking at the same time here. Your objective is to put the car right here in the middle of the road. It's a bit of a compromise. We don't need to get it all the way over to the left, and you certainly don't want to be on the right. You want to be right about here in the middle. This is going to allow you a nice entry into turn 13. So you're turning in, and now you're beginning to squeeze the power on it. As you drive into this hill, it actually catches the car. It's going to put more pressure down on those tires, allowing you to gain grip. Your goal here is to crest this hill in as much of a straight line as you can. The car's going to get very light there, so you want to make sure that it's straight as possible. Then we start coming down the hill now. Breathe off the throttle, which means come off the throttle a little bit. Let the car turn in. And then once it starts heading down to the apex, now you can begin rolling back into the throttle. Again, another long sweeping right-hander. Just going to maintain your radius and just maintain your speed. Just be real patient with the car through there. Now, smoothly off the throttle to the brake. You're in a corner, so you can't be popping your pedals there. You'll be nice and smooth on them. Look into the corner. Look right where you want to go next. Drive down in to your apex and begin squeezing your power back on. This is a compromise corner. We're not going to be able to let the car track out because we need to be able to get the car back over here to the right in order to have the proper line through turn 16, which is a very important corner because it leads onto a straightaway. So we want to take our time back there, compromise the exit of turn 15, get as much speed through here at 16 as we can. So lift off the throttle, let the weight transfer to the nose of the car. That's going to help initiate your turn in. Now you start rolling down into the corner, very carefully beginning to squeeze that power on. You really can't get any power on until you get about here to the apex. Beginning to roll into that throttle carefully. run right out to the outside edge of the road. Again, making that radius as big as you can.